is depressing. Let me explain. So, there's a couple things. Besides the fact that my friends and family or people I care about are either evicted recently or they're having a really hard time or they're about to be evicted or whatever else. And I hear Kurzgesagt talk about a UBI, a Universal Basic Income, which honestly is only half of the issue. You can make it so that people can survive off of $1,000 a month just by putting enough money into a savings account. And then if you have enough money extra, you can build up enough so that you can have 2 savings accounts that do that. And then expand. And in the course of time, everyone would have infinite lasting $10,000 a month or whatever that the government can't do anything about. It's just their money doing work. It's not taxed because you can make a tax-free savings account doing that and take out the money every month and do that. Right? It may take a little bit of time to process the money thing because of the current situation, but it's possible to do that, and then there's nothing anyone can say about it. You just have that money, and there's nothing anyone can say about it. So the fact that UBI, a Universal Basic Income, is possible because everyone's money in the world right now, if you just shove it into savings accounts, wait for the interest for 1 month, you would just have enough money to probably give everyone UBI for free, no government assist. You're done. You just have this forever. Right? It's not Universal Basic Income. It's Universal Basic I just said the word interest. Universal Basic Interest Income. UBII. So it's like, you just get this money. It's tax-free. The government can't say crap about it. They can't take you off of it. It's your money. Right? Technically, you have access to all the money that's in that account, but general contract, whatever, blah, 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 you can only take out the $1,000 per month thing, depending on the amount that is in there. Right? Now, let's say you put in more. Well, then you start earning more and extra, and then automatically you have more and extra. It's not something that you have to request. You can just do that. If you manage well 1 month, then you'll manage better the following months, and so on. And if people were to do this, blah, 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 it'd be simple. You would not have to work. No one would need to work, ever. This is a radical concept. Kurzgesagt made a video about it. I'm expanding on it because that's only half the issue. If you want everyone to also be working, you need to make sure that everyone has jobs that are accessible. Currently, jobs are not accessible. Let me explain why. You are required and forced to do the minimum of 40 hours a week or something, depending on if it's part-time, and you can't make certain jobs part-time. If I want to go into doing science or be a lawyer or whatever else, I can't do that part-time. I can't do it whatever. I am stuck with whatever they have set up. Maybe lawyer, I don't know. But like, the main thing is, if I want to do science or whatever else, it's impossible to just get a part-time thing or whatever. Like, normally people have to be there, have to be functioning constantly. And it's like, it drags people down. It makes it so that they don't want to work. So what you need is, you need jobs that have hours that can work with people's endurance levels. And the more of those you do, you could literally have like twice as many jobs or 4 times as many jobs. If people can only do 2 hours of shift per day, then boom, you have 4 times the amount of jobs. If you're doing 8-hour days, just divide that into 2-hour shifts, and then everyone gets a 2-hour shift, and then they all have to manage the shift rotation, but like everyone would have a job. And it would be an easy job. You could manage on learning it for the rest of the time, and then boom, you would just be able to do good at the job, and you'd have the ability to survive because of UBI, and you wouldn't be worried about that, and you'd be able to focus on making sure you just get to the job and do the thing, and you could do whatever job that was interesting to you. Right now, it's stuck. Everything is trapped. It's all choked and like limited. I haven't looked into it very much, but it's like, oh, you have to always work pretty. I think, and I could look into it for my own employment center, but it's like it is almost guaranteed you're not going to get a job that's going to be functioning for you and for what you're capable of, and the intensity or whatever else. And it's like even if you have multiple people doing the same job, so that you would get less income because minimum wage. Oh, it has to be high. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. If you have a universal basic income, minimum wage, irrelevant. You would just make it whatever wage you can make and do per hour, per shift, whatever, right? Depending on what they're capable of doing. And then everyone would be able to do it, and then you wouldn't have to worry about all these people not having jobs and whatever else. Oh, because they don't have enough money to do things. Well, yeah, no, they do. They do. It's just a lot more paperwork. It's a lot more of this and that. But it's possible to have all this stuff processed better, handled with ease. And, like, you'd have to have more supervisors. That's more jobs right there. And they would have to be good at doing their job. And when I tried doing a job 10 years ago. No, 2008, it was, whatever, do the math, 15 years ago. And, like, it was trash. I was not given the proper understanding of what the job is requiring. I wasn't given, like, a proper understanding of the job in general. And, like, oh, they say, well, right now you're not doing enough to do a proper wages. And I'm like, that's because you haven't been having me do the job correctly. If you want to have me understand what it is to do the job, then you best make sure that you train me to do it right. And you put me in the position to do the things that are needed. Oh, well, what if you can't have enough business in a day because a food industry could be a slow day, right? And then you don't have the ability to do enough stuff in the hour to earn a wage. What do you do about that? There has to be some adjustment for that. Or you just get paid for an hour. It's like you worked an hour, yep. But technically you didn't. Or, right, like what do you do? You know? How do you manage all of that? How do you actually say all of it is 100% stable and whatever else? It's not. There's a lot of things I would like better for people, and the one thing is just obliterate homelessness, obliterate the need to have income be like forced on everyone. Like, in order to, if the cost of living, right, and the fact that there are some shampoos that's like twice as expensive as other shampoos, you know who you are, and you could have the same quality stuff with less money or whatever else, so you go the cheap route or whatever else. And, like, I've been drinking stuff where it's like I've been drinking these tall drinks, and what that is basically a combination of some drink, milk, and water. And so it's mostly water. So I get all the other stuff that I need out of it, and the other stuff is like compact or something. And it's like a thing. Anyway, the point is there's frugalness to it, and there's also, like, it feels like I'm drinking a lot. Also, it doesn't spoil as easily, for some reason. People avoid doing stuff to milk, but you realize you're also avoiding the chance of it not spoiling for, like, a long time. Which is a crazy idea, because most people have been trained to think that's not how that's not how it works, but it's like it can be. But then again, I also believe in the perpetual motion that's actually this thing that runs all atomic particles. And so if you have like carbon and whatever else that can last for billions of years, guess what? Perpetual motion made that happen. We have the energy of the electrons and the stuff that is pulling the electron to the atom itself, and the atom pulling itself together is a constant, infinite, consistent, perpetual cycle. We are made of perpetual motion. The thing is, we can't use that perpetual motion as our physical nature to make power. Well, we're making power anyway. Is that power made by perpetual motion? You could say so. All of the power, everything here, is made because perpetual motion is a thing. Literally, without perpetual motion, atoms would just decay in a matter of seconds. Because there's nothing to hold them in together. There's something there. It's active, it's functioning, it's doing stuff, it's work. It's strong work. It's like the power of, like, what? A certain amount of pounds per square inch of force? Constantly holding all the parts that they make up you, me, the glass that's between us with the phone and everything. Hello, chat. I am making a video live stream also. So the thing is, I also believe in perpetual motion being a thing. Not to mention the fact that, like, real power, the Hoover, a hydroelectric dam is perpetual motion. As long as the weather persists, as long as the planet persists, as long as the star persists, then we have perpetual motion, constantly making the weather doing stuff, constantly making the water flow, so we have power from the water dam. And the thing is, here's the weird part about water dams. They don't properly scientifically understand how to do water dams. Because what you could do is force the water through, like, many layers upstream, and you could get a certain amount of power from that also. We're not doing that. I don't know why. Right? Well, the water has to flow. It has to be forced down a certain amount in the channel, and you can only have so much power and whatever else. Well, guess what? You can do better than that. You can make the power systems underneath the river. And then the water is flowing down, and it can be pushed back up again, or something, constantly cycled throughout the river. Whole different ball game. Multiply the power systems by 100. No need for coal. You still need the sun, but whatever. And people say, "Oh, well, you can't think of batteries because batteries aren't perpetual motion." Screw you. Batteries are still a component in perpetual motion. What does it take to charge the battery? Something. What does it take to make the power in the first place? Something else. And if you have all the functions doing, this is a perpetual motion process. Like your phone right now. It's being charged every so often by you plugging it in the battery and replacing the battery. That's still a perpetual process. It really doesn't matter. And the thing you really want is something that lasts forever. But what if you could just have something that will be a continued process? Similarly, the banking idea is legit. You can just do that. You can just have a large income from your bank account if you have a large amount of money in the bank. Done. Right? Oh, you get so much money in the income and whatever. How am I doing? I'm doing fine. Except for the fact that I don't have an AC because I decided not to. Because there's something wrong with AC air. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. And I hear other people getting evicted, and it breaks my heart. They get evicted or they have health issues and whatever else and stuff. I hate it. I want them to have a good life. Kirk Kazak talked about a UBI, Universal Basic Income, and that's like half the equation and whatever. We could be having that, but we also need good jobs. Jobs we can actually do. Jobs we can, like, consistently do, even if we have limited mobility and whatever else. Or endurance, like me. I'm high functioning, but I have low endurance. So I literally can do any of the jobs if I was given the chance to do it for like a certain amount of time a day. Don't have that option. It's like, oh, you're going to work me to death. Perfect. Great. Love that. I avoid. I don't even have the option because I can't. If I chose that option, I would be taken off of ODSP and then immediately not be able to do the job because I'd be passed out, and then I would lose the job, and then I'd be homeless. It's a stupid system. Make it so you can constantly live and constantly do the job, and it not be something as basic as simply general maintenance or general laborer or I don't know. Let it be something like science. Let it be something good. You know? You like my phone? It's tiny in the back. Whatever. This is a Science Me video. Thanks for hanging out with me. I like it when you do. I'll see you in the next video. I'm also live streaming right now on Twitch.